stop sign out. So I made the effort to make sure I was either sitting in the gravel parking lot across the street or there in the alley next to the church. And you know, when people come up, they see me, and I can tell you from being there, I didn't have any problems. Now, when I wasn't there, I would still get told by the school that it was still happening. I mean, we try to be a visual deterrent as much as we can, but as you can understand, it can only go so far sometimes. But if he's aware of that, then I'm sure we'll make the adjustments. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm just going to complain about the traffic coming in on Elm Street about between 3:30 and 4 o'clock there. When they come around that curve, they're flying. And we have a 7-year-old getting off at the curve where East Street goes out on Elm, and she has to walk from there down to the corner.
About what time would you say that is?
Her bus comes in around 4,
Okay.
5 after 4, along in there.
And I'm aware that the traffic down East Street is absolutely terrible. It is posted 25. A lot of people assume that it's 35. So a lot of times in the evenings, if people have seen, personally me, I like to sit there at the garage there on East Street. I sit tucked up right along the building. I'm still visible, so I'm not against my regulations set by the sheriff's office. And I shoot my radar, people coming, towards Maple Street, at me. And a lot of times, you're right, I catch people 45, 55 mile an hour, in that 25 zone.
When they hit that curve, I wonder, I hope they get stopped at the 559.
Right.
Yeah, she's talking about Maple coming straight in, not East Street.
Okay.
Elm Street, Elm Street.
Elm Street.
She's talking Elm
Elm
Street.
Street, okay.
On like the corner of Elm and Sycamore,
Okay.
that's where she lives. They get off at East and
And East
Elm
Street.
and
Okay.
walk across.
Okay.
And with the snow and the skaters, she has to get out and walk on. Now they slow down. If I go out and I walk that far away from the snow and they, I wear my black coat, but they know there's an adult out there and it seems like that slows them down some.
I can tell you, for me, I will make a point to be over there. I obviously have to change it up some to make sure I'm not there all the time, but I'll definitely make sure that I'm, in the vicinity, because, usually, the village has a moderate call volume, which allows for, a lot of time to run traffic, speed, for example. So, like I said, a lot of times you'll see me sitting in certain locations, specifically trying to catch people speeding and displaying the signs. So if that's a problem, just get with me after the meeting so I can get an exact location to see if there's some place that I can set up over there so I can run radar for you, if that'd be okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Council, Mr. Ted Murphy.
In your guys' packet, you'll see as far as the joint fire district creation under the Ohio Revised Code 505.371. And I started studying this when the fire board is talking about changing their bylaws. And being an alternate member, I don't get some information others get. When I researched this in the Ohio Revised Code, section B here, I just want to read it. The governing body of the joint fire district shall be a board of fire district trustees, which shall include one representative from each board of township trustees. We have 2 trustees that sit from each township on the fire board. Then it says one representative from the legislative authority of each municipal corporation in the district. North Lewisburg and Woodstock have 2 people that sit on that board also, one being the mayor, one being the administrator. Legislative authority, I think you can make a case for the mayor because it does have some voting powers and tie votes and stuff, but I think the administrator falls outside of that. That's just my own opinion. So the Board of Fire District Trustees may exercise same powers, and it goes on. But the main part I'm concerned about is they're changing bylaws. I know there's home law possibly involved in this, and I understand that. But if we get so far away from the Ohio Revised Code, I'm just kind of wondering with what they're looking to change their bylaws to. And we have the 2 regular members here, and they might be able to speak more to the bylaw change. I think there's talk about making a percentage, each voting entity worth a percentage of a vote. which to me, it's starting to get too far gone from what the original intent was. You know, so I think each entity should be worth $1. But
Excuse me, Ted, I think I can clear it up. You're saying that the administrator and the mayor shouldn't be attending, but it was our group, Lewisburg, that researched that, and it was lawful. And if you don't like that, why are we sending our administrator to the meeting then?
as I've stated, as I started researching this and taking a look at it, and being an alternate member, I just think if they're wanting to change the bylaws, you know, I just don't.
But everybody gets to vote on them. It's not something that's just going to be done by one or the other.
So I was just wondering if the village has some options, I think. They can ask the fire board to seek an opinion from the prosecuting attorney's office, or the assistant prosecuting attorney. We can ask as a village if we want them to seek that, or we can have our representatives on that board to ask them to seek that. Or it could come back to us asking a representative, or we can just accept it for what it is. I just want the information out there as they're going through these bylaw changes, which is going to probably lead to some other changes, as they're looking to change some things. And I would encourage the citizens of North Lewisburg, they need to get involved with the fire board and start attending those meetings, because it's going to affect us in a lot of ways with what they're wanting to do. And it's just not a good situation as far as the meetings that I've attended and seen. And I just wanted that council to be aware of it. Like I said, I understand home law and how things are set up at the beginning. I understand that. But I also understand that you can't get so far away from the Ohio Revised Code and lose that base. I just wanted to bring it to people's attention, to council's attention. And just, if we want to discuss it, or if we want to ask maybe our representatives to bring it up, I don't know.
Excuse me, Ted, I've got a question. How's what they're doing any different when the council came up with rules and regulations and you voted on it? As an entity, that is your job to vote on what you should and shouldn't be doing. We have representation on the fire board, and nothing's being done without full knowledge.
Yeah,
what is your specific concern?
My specific concern, to begin with, is if they're going to change the bylaws, we can't get too far away from what the original setup was supposed to be.
And is there anything in particular that happens to strike your feet?
I'm going back to the original Ohio Revised Code.
So you don't think Andy should be on the fire board? Then why don't you guys as an entity vote for him not to be on it?
I don't think any administrator should be sitting on that board.
But it was Lewisburg that proved the point that yes, they could.
Again, I wasn't here when all that was done.
Well, Andy, Jason will tell you,
Okay,
you just have to
okay.
ask him.
Anyway, we as a council can either ask our representatives, I think, to bring it up and ask for them to seek an opinion, which I doubt they will do. And then it comes back to us and maybe we can ask to seek an opinion.
Seek an opinion on the legality
On the makeup of the board as it stands, especially if they're going to change the bylaws.
Okay.
I mean, they're going to change the bylaws regardless.
Right.
I mean, the way the votes and stuff are going, they're going to change the bylaws.
Which is their right as a group.
And our right as a village, I believe, is to ask these questions,
Right.
especially if they're getting so.
1/4 of the fire district,
Then why didn't
Yeah.
they ask at the
Okay.
fire board meeting?
So I wanted to bring that to the council first. And I don't know if we want to ask our members that sit on there to ask that question. Would you guys be opposed to asking that question? And then, once they come back, I think we'll see what they say. I know from some of the discussions I've had, it's got a lot of question marks in people's minds.
Have you seen the draft of the proposed bylaws yet?
Those are sent out. Actually, I think we requested that they get resent out at the fire board meeting, if I remember correctly.
Correct.
The actual originals with the corrections, and then I include what they want to see type deal. think what got some Ted's thought was the original composition of the fire board itself, and also some of the things they were looking to do, and specifically, correct me wrong, but, you know, possibly looking at as far as tiebreakers or potentially voting purposes, having a weighted system based on population or contributions, tax base.
Tax dollars, they wanted to, yeah. Some of the thought process is, and correct me if I'm wrong, is like a Rush Township vote. I don't know the numbers, let's say, you're gonna say Rush Township vote is worth 38% of a vote.
No, they're paying about 50% of the cost.
Ted, how many, there are 2 members from each precinct now on the board,
Right.
and how many of them's got voting rights?
One person votes, but both are there. But then you end up with, if you have whoever heads the committee for that year, if there's a tied vote right now, that second member of that entity gets the vote.
It's not appointed before the year starts.
I think it just transfers,
Rotates.
rotates.
Goes with the rotation
Well, here's the
of-
question. How many times has there been a tie that needed to be broken this year? None.
Again, I think it's worth us researching.
Reason why? What's the reason why?
The others don't agree with him. You folks told me if you're the only one on council disagreeing, you should leave. Say the same thing to your group. They're the only ones that are disagreeing.
I don't think anybody.
Why are they trying to push the fire department out of North Lewisburg?
They're going out themselves. That's their choice.
Sure, if you don't fix the heater, you don't fix the roof, there's no accommodations.
They're just as talking to you about the fire department.
No, because
Have
you
run
have a
on the
personal
fire
grind
department
in it.
before?
You have a big personal
you-
grind.
Have you worked on the fire department?
Controlling.
I'm asking you a question.
Carl?
Again, I think it needs to be looked at. I think there's changes coming with the fire board.
I think something needs done, definitely.
Yes.
Before, when I've asked at town council about fire barn meeting, I was told by the mayor, if people wanted to know what was going on at the fire barn meeting, they should attend, that they weren't going to discuss it at a town council meeting.
Fire issues, we wanted to talk about them, and you said just show up at the meeting.
Yeah, you should be coming.
So let's not quit talking about it and move on.
Tonight's not the fire district, it's a council.
Again, I just wanted to bring this up to council because I think it needs to be looked at. And I think our village needs to look at it. And I don't think we're doing our due diligence as a council if we don't take a look at it.
I've thought that for a long time.
That's fine. We'll bring it up.
Thank you.
Next is Resolution 342-2014A. Whereas the Village of North Lewisburg, Ohio, Champaign County is a member of the Champaign County Emergency Management Agency, and whereas the Village of North Lewisburg holds a seat on the Executive Committee, and whereas the Village of North Lewisburg has a municipal administrator who serves and represents the mayor and council in all matters, and whereas it is in the best interest of the Village of North Lewisburg, Ohio, that the municipal administrator represent the village and serve as a member of the Champaign County Emergency Management Agency and on the Executive Committee in the absence of the mayor. Now therefore be it resolved by the council of the Village of North Lewisburg, Ohio, that the council shall authorize the municipal administrator to serve in these capacities on the Champaign County Emergency Management Agency and Executive Committee. I need a motion to pass this.
Also move.
I'll second.
Any discussion? It's one we pass every year. Roll call?
Beach,
Yes.
Hollingsworth, yes. Murphy,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Spain,
Yes.
Warner,
Yes.
Next is Resolution 3-4-2014B. Whereas the Village of North Lewisburg, Ohio, Champaign County is a member of the General Health District, ORC 3709.01 of Champaign County, and whereas the Village of North Lewisburg has a municipal administrator who serves at the pleasure of the mayor and council, and whereas the Village of North Lewisburg mayor and council shall require in the best interest of the health and safety of the village that the municipal administrator serve and represent North Lewisburg Corporation on the Health District Board and Advisory Council in the absence of the mayor. ORC 735.273. Now therefore be it resolved by the council of the village of North Lewisburg, Ohio, that the council shall authorize the municipal administrator to serve in these capacities. Need a motion to approve that.
I'll make a motion.
Have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Warner,
Yes.
Spain,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Murphy,
Yes.
Hollingsworth. Yes. And Beach. Yes.
Okay, next is ordinance number 259. An ordinance governing the use of operation of golf carts within the village of North Lewisburg, Ohio. This will be the second reading. Whereas the use of golf carts as a means of alternative transportation has increased in recent years, and whereas to provide for the safe and lawful use of golf carts upon the village streets, this council is of the opinion of the need to adopt rules governing the use and operation of golf carts. Now therefore be it resolved by the council of the village of North Lewisburg, Ohio, Section 1, that the village of North Lewisburg hereby enacts the following applicable to the operation and use of golf carts within the village. A, definition, a golf cart is a motor vehicle as the terms defined under the Ohio Revised Code 4501.01, Section B. Section B, the equipment. In addition to any rules or regulations promulgated by the Ohio Director of Public Safety pursuant to the ORC Chapter 4511 and the ORC Chapter 4513, equipment of the golf cart shall include but not necessarily be limited to requirements for the following items of equipment, all to be in working order during operation. A, 2 headlights having a minimum cannon power of sufficient intensity to reveal persons and objects at a distance of at least 100 feet ahead under normal atmospheric conditions during darkness. 2 red tail lights having a minimum cannon power sufficient intensity to be plainly visible from a distance of at least 500 feet to the rear under normal atmospheric conditions during hours of darkness. Directional signals front and rear view mirror, white light illumination, the rear license plate, horn, windshield made of glass or plastic glass, 2 license plate, 1 in the front, 1 in the rear, bracketed to the cart, brake lights, license requirements of the operator. No person who is under 16 years of age shall operate the golf cart. The person must hold a valid current motor vehicle driver's license. The inspection, no person shall operate a golf cart on the streets within the village unless the cart has been inspected for compliance with the state of Ohio statutory requirements and that are applicable motor vehicles of the codified ordinance of the village, entitling the owner or operator to secure a title and license for the golf cart. Insurance, the owner of the golf cart shall provide proof of insurance at the time of registration. The operation, a person shall operate the golf cart on public streets within the village, obeying all traffic rules applicable to vehicles. Occupants of golf carts shall be seated at all times on the seat of the golf cart. Standing on any portion of the golf cart while in motion is prohibited. A person shall not operate the golf cart on sidewalks. Limitations. The provision of this ordinance may be waived during limited periods of special events for which the operators of said golf carts have received prior approval of the use of golf carts from the village administration. Penalty. That anyone who violates this ordinance shall be guilty of a minor misdemeanor. If within 1 year of the offense previously has been convicted or pled guilty to a previous violation of this violation of the ordinance, whoever violates this ordinance is guilty of a misdemeanor of the 4th degree. If within 1 year of the offense, the offender previously has been convicted of 2 or more prior violations of this ordinance, whoever violates this ordinance is guilty of a misdemeanor of the 3rd degree. Section 2, this ordinance shall be in full force and effect after the earliest date permitted by law. And the last ordinance is a change from the number that's on your guys' agenda, and it's ordinance number 255B. It's an ordinance approving and adopting and enacting the American Legal Publishing's Ohio Basic Code 2014 edition as a code of ordinances for the municipality of North Lewisburg, Ohio, and declaring it as an emergency. Whereas the present general and permanent ordinance of the municipality are inadequately arranged and classified and are insufficient in form and substance for the complete preservation of the public peace, health, safety, and general welfare of the municipality, and for the proper conduct of its affairs. Whereas the American Legal Publishing Corporation publishes a code of ordinance suitable for adoption by municipalities in Ohio. Whereas it is necessary to provide for the usual daily operation of the municipality and for the immediate preservation of public peace, health, safety, and general welfare of the municipality, that this ordinance take effect at its earliest date. Now therefore be it ordained by the legislation authority of the municipality of North Lewisburg, Ohio, that the American Legal Publishing's Ohio Basic Code 2014 edition is reviewed and approved by the legislative authority, is hereby adopted and enacted. Any prior version of the Ohio Basic Code which may have been previously adopted is hereby repealed as obsolete and is hereby replaced in its entirety by the Ohio Basic Code 2014 edition. The one copy of the American Legal Publishing Ohio Basic Code certified is correct by the mayor and clerk of the legislative authority as required by the ORC 731.23 shall be kept in its initial form on file in the office of the clerk of the municipality and retained as a permanent ordinance record of the municipality. The clerk of the municipality is authorized to direct the published summary of the new matters obtained within the code of ordinances as required by Ohio Revised Code 731.23. All ordinances and resolutions or parts thereof which conflict or inconsistent with any other provision of the Ohio Basic Code 2014 edition as adopted as section 1 hereof are hereby repealed as an effective date of this ordinance except the follows. The enactment of the Ohio Basic Code 2014 edition shall not be construed to affect the right or liability accrued or accrued under the legislative provision prior to the effective date of such enactment. Whereas an action or proceeding of the enforcement of such right or liability, such enactment shall not be construed to relieve any person from punishment for an act committed in violation of any such legislative provision, nor to effect an indictment or prosecution thereof. Therefore, for such purposes, any such legislative provision shall continue in full force, notwithstanding its repeal, for the purpose of revision and codification. The repeal provided above shall not affect the grant or creation of a franchise, license, right, easement, or privilege, the purchase, sale, lease, or transfer of property, the appropriation or expenditure of monies or promise of guarantee of payment, the assumption of any contract or obligation, the issuance and delivery of any bonds, obligations, or other instruments of indebtedness, the levy or imposition of taxes, assessments, or charges, the establishment, naming, vacating, or grade level of any street or public way, the dedication of property or plat approval, the annexation or detachment of territory, any legislation enacted subsequent to the adoption of this ordinance, and any legislation specifically superseding the provision of the Ohio Basic Code. Whenever reference is made to, in any documents, publications, or signs of the municipality, including but not limited to traffic tickets and traffic control signs, to a section as it existed in the former edition of the Ohio Basic Code, the reference shall extend and apply to the section referred to as subsequently amended, revised, recodified, and renumbered. This ordinance is declared to be an emergency measure necessary for the immediate provision of peace, health, safety, and general welfare of the people of this municipality and shall take effect at its earliest date provided by law. I just need a motion, please.
Also,
When?
What was that?
You have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Yes, please second.
Roll call?
Beach. Yes. Hollingsworth. Yes. Murphy.
Yes.
Scott.
Yes.
Spain.
Yes.
Warner.
Okay, nothing under hearing of citizens. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Also move.
Have a second? Roll call, and a second. Okay.
Beach. Yes. Hollingsworth. Yes. Murphy.
Yes.
Scott.
Yes.
Spain. Yes. And Warner.
Meeting adjourned.
You'll need to take this home. call Brad and we'll have a meeting tomorrow.
You are more than welcome.
Because he's gonna wanna know, was Ed or Ted talking about again? Their bylaws. We made our own bylaws, we voted on them. Every group has that right to do. But somehow it's not gonna be fair.